أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah, salatu wassalamu ala Rasulillah. Ikhwati, my brothers, my sisters in Islam, let's get into it. MashaAllah, I see in front of me literally a small pond of young brothers and sisters on the other side, full of talent and full of capacity and youth, inshallah ta'ala. Ikhwati, there's one point I want to tell everyone here, and that is, when Islam, do you know when Islam was strong? Islam was strong when the youth were strong. If the youth are weak, all they can think about is girls, and all girls can think about is boys. And when the only distraction that on your mind is the next music that is coming out from so-and-so person, or when you are distracted about the deen and don't practice your deen and don't think about the ummah and its problems and worries, then Islam has no future at all. But Islam has a future if you all focus on the problems of the ummah and say, hey, you know what, if something is to be, it's all up to me. And if you start saying that, then you know what, Islam has a bright future, inshallah. When the youth hold on to Islam, then Islam will flourish. And if the youth are misguided and lost, then Islam will have no future at all. Do you know that Ibrahim a.s. was a very young man when he destroyed the idols and he tried to show his people the fallacy of worshipping idols? Allah says in the Quran that his people, when they came back from their holiday and they saw that the idols were all broken, they said, سَمِعْنَا فَتًى يَذْكُرُهُمْ يُقَالُ لَهُ Ibrahim. We heard a young boy mentioning them, his name is Ibrahim. So he was a young boy when he tried to clarify to his people that idol worship is wrong. We know Yusuf ﷺ was a young boy when he was tested by Allah Azza wa Jal with that severe test. Young boy, subhanallah, and he taught humanity how to have patience. We know that in Surah Yasin, 3 messengers, not one but 2, but 3 messengers were sent to one town to ask them to believe in Allah. And they decided not to believe in Allah Azza wa Jal. And then this one young man ran from the farthest part of the village saying, وَجَاءَ رَجُلٌ مِنْ أَقْصَى الْمَدِينَةِ يَسْعَى قَالَ يَا قَوْمِ اتَّبِعُوا مُرْسَلِينَ. He ran to his people and said, oh my people, obey the messengers. It was one man, and young boy, young person. We know, for example, in history, if you were to look at history, who was the youngest general of the Muslim Ummah? 16-year-old boy by the name of Usama bin Zayd. 16-year-old boy who took an army of 3,000 soldiers and fought the Romans of 250,000 Romans. And look at that. I mean, you call yourself a man, you think you're strong? Got no idea. Got no idea. Just because you've got a little bit of meat in your limbs doesn't make you a man, doesn't make you strong. Strength is here. Strength is here. Because you see, people can break your bones. They can cut your limbs off. They can torture you. They can kill you even, right? But there are 2 things they can never ever take from you if you don't give it to them. You know what those 2 things are? It's your heart and your mind. Because you have total control over that. But the problem is we give our hearts and our mind far too easily. Far too easily we donate our hearts and our mind to evil things around us simply because, you know what, we are so directionless and we are so unfocused. Time to get focused. Time to grow up, yeah? Time to grow up, mature up, and time to become of those people that Allah Azza wa Jal will make you the qadr of Allah in this dunya. You see, there are people in this dunya who lead their life because they're pushed around by the qadr of Allah. Qadr of Allah pushes them this way, they go left. It pushes them that way, they go right. It pushes them forward, they go forward, or back, they go back. Yeah, wherever the qadr of Allah takes them, they go. But some people are the qadr of Allah on this dunya. Through them, Allah enacts His qadr. Through them, Allah achieves great things. And that is what we have to aspire to become, the qadr of Allah in this dunya. As youth and as university going youth, we have the greatest potential. Do you know when I started my da'wah work? I started my da'wah work when I was in university. When I was in medical school, university, my first year in University of Bonn. When I came back from Medina in 2005, that's when I started my da'wah work. And then now I'm in 13 countries. We have over 2,500 to 3,000 people working with us now worldwide. We're touching the lives of 1 million people. I started all of that work when I was a medical student. And you know medicine, how difficult it can be. It's bloody long hours. Okay? That's Australian coming out. You know the swear words coming out, right? Yes, long hours, man. It's huge. But I did that at that time. Why? Because if you truly focus, you can achieve great things. Doesn't matter all the things that are on your plate, exams, da 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 da, yada yada yada. Yeah, you know what? I had a lot to study as well. But at the same time, if my priorities were right, my priorities have to be right, then we can achieve so many great things. How many of you are doing a 4-year degree program here? Come on, guys, show me your hands. 4-year degree program. How many hours will you spend doing a 4-year degree program? Do you know how many hours you'll spend studying? 4,000 hours. On average, 1,000 hours a year, right? On average, you'll spend 4,000 hours studying for that degree that you even might not end up using ultimately, because you could be studying to be a financial finance. You could be studying finance, but you end up going into, later on in your life, going to IT because there's more opportunity in IT. Isn't that right? That's what happens today. Do you know how long it takes to memorize the whole Quran? It takes 1,600 hours to memorize the whole Quran on average. On average, an adult memorizes the Quran in 2.5 years. It takes them only 1,600 hours. That's it. That's the basic average. So where is your priorities? Mushkila is your priority is not right. You think Jannah is one. You think Jannah is cheap. I can buy Jannah with $10, £20. Yeah, God, I gave you money. I give you money in Ramadan. I give £20. Give me Jannah. Give me Hurul Ain. Give me all my women. That's what you think. That's the mushkila in your heads, ya akhwati. Mushkila is Jannah is too cheap. It's not. It's expensive. Do you know how many levels there are in Jannah? Some of the scholars said 100 levels. Other scholars said 5,600 something levels. You know why? Because the hadith states that with every single verse that he recites, he'll be asked to ascend another level in Jannah. Allahu Akbar. Imagine that. Where are you from asking Allah for the highest level of Jannah? Ya khuti, subhanallah. No one of us gets into a new BMW or a new Mercedes Benz except that, wow, you know, I wish I had this car myself. Imagine living an eternity with a cheap quality Volkswagen for the rest of your life, ya akhi. A 1980 model Volkswagen, driving that. You would rather have a better quality car, yeah, and leading Jannah. And do you understand what I'm trying to say? I'm trying to say, guys, let's aspire for greatness. Because it's only 70 years of hard work. Not even 70 years. It's 20 years of your life has already passed. You're probably early 20s now, or getting into your 20s now, okay? 20 years of your life has passed, yeah? You've got 50 years of hard work only. 50 years is puny compared to an eternity. Compared to an eternity of Jannah. You know the lowest person who will go to Jannah? He will stand on the gates of Jannah and he will see his dominion in front of him for 2,000 years travel. Authentic hadith in Tirmidhi. 2,000 years travel. The lowest person will go to Jannah. Ya akhwati, is it not time for good men and good women like us over here in this room to aspire to achieve great things for our ummah? And you have that ability now. Your wings are not clipped anymore. Your father and mothers are not holding you back anymore. You go to universities, you're studying, you're expected to be adults, and you're responsible in the books of Allah. Angels are writing your deeds down. Is it not time for men and women who Allah has given them strength and energy, for them to have highness or aspiration, for them to not be distracted by their youth things and to focus on other greater things they can do with their life? I wish I was your age. I wish I had that 16 years back. I'm 36 now. I wish I was whatever I was, 20 years old, and I had this thinking at that time. At 20 years old, oh man, I was into so many haram things. Actually, no, I was practicing at that time. 17, yeah, okay, taban. But 20, alhamdulillah, I was practicing. But the point is, I wish I had that focus at that point. Please take my advice. Please take my advice. And focus. Focus your energy on one thing to help the ummah with. Just do one thing. I'm not asking for multiple. Just do one thing that you can help the ummah with. And you will achieve it. You will, because you're young. And you have unlimited time at the moment, alhamdulillah. You will achieve it because you're young and you have energy. And you will achieve it because you have networks. And Allah Azza wa Jalla has given us in the 21st century things that He has not given before. Like travel. Easily I can come from Australia. I got off my plane. I got off my shift in my hospital. Straight away changed my clothes and into the plane. I finished my shift at 5. My plane's at 6. Then I went to Brisbane at 7. Then my flights from Brisbane to Dubai is at 9. At 9 I reached after 14 hours to Dubai. And 2 hours waiting in Dubai. And then another 7 hours to UK. Like that. I just slept in the plane. Yeah, Khuti, the point I'm trying to make is Allah has made travel so easy. I'm from Australia, but I can do dawah in this country. Allah has given me that opportunity. Why don't you have that vision too? What's stopping you? Are you thinking that, okay, I don't know, but I can't talk like Tawfique Chowdhury? I say, you know what, I know myself, I don't talk very well. I have to prepare very hard. I can't stammer sometimes. I have to prepare. I'm not a very good speaker. The point is, you don't have to be very eloquent. You don't also have to be very wealthy. You don't have to be very skilled. You don't have to be very experienced. But there is only one thing you have to have. That is passion. Passion comes from the French word passion. You know what that means? Passion means the willingness and the readiness to sacrifice for the cause of something that you want to achieve. Sacrifice what? Sacrifice my wasted time that I spend in other things. My wasted time watching games and watching TV and Facebook and so much other things that we have distracting us today, like apps and games. Yeah? And that's my point to you all. If you stop wasting time and use that time to focus your energy, bi'idhnillah, you'll achieve great things. Jazakallah khair. We'll open up for questions for all my brothers and sisters, inshallah. And tafaddalu, bismillah. Right, who's going to break the ice and ask one question? Tafaddal akhi, go ahead.
It's a question about university ISOCs. So at our university, there are group students who broke off from the ISOC, the main society, and they formed a different society, and they're causing sort of problems on campus, in terms of meddling with the Jummah arrangements. So these people, they made the different society, Islamic Theology Society, so Sufi Society, and now they're trying to mess with our Jummah stuff and the speakers that we bring in, and they've complained to university and gotten some. It was either open it up to all the societies, including Shia Society and Ahmadiyya Society and all these other different groups, or work with them and try and come to some sort of solution. So we decided to go for the lesson to just work with them only and try and get some agreement.
Yeah. So what's your question, Akhi?
So the question is, how do we deal with these kind of issues? Is it okay to work with these people? Is it also, if it is, then how do we sort of
Okay, excellent question. So my brother is asking the question that in his Islamic society, that there's splinter groups that have broken off and started their own groups, and this is causing some fitna and some clashing of timetables with the Jummah and speaker arrangements, etc. And his question is, how do we deal with them and what do we do? Ya Akhil Kareem, you're not living in an Islamic country. You're living in a pluralistic society that believes in equality for all. So what you should be doing, right? What you should be doing is carrying on your work in your own sphere of influence. You've got your own Islamic society. Carry on your work and work with these groups to the extent of their closeness to the Sunnah. Okay? I'm not saying shun anybody. I don't believe that actually works anymore. But I believe what works is decreased level of cooperation according to their being further away from Islam. So the more closer they are to Islam and to the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, the more we cooperate with them. The more farther they are away from the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ and their work and etc. is more farther away, the less we cooperate with them. But we still cooperate on matters that we can cooperate on. Are we clear about this, Akhi? So look at it in a positive light, okay? And remember, it's actually, you might see it as a bad thing. It might actually be a good thing. It might actually be a good thing, because my experience with competition in the Muslim, in the Dawah sphere, is that the market grows, the market expands. You know what, you might think that, okay, you know what, Green Lane Masjid, we don't want another masjid down the road, and the market's going to get, there's not going to be enough people coming. But guess what? No, actually, more people now move to Birmingham, to Coventry Road. More people, more Muslims now congregate in this area. And so now you have a larger audience. That's what I've noticed. When I launched Al-Kawthar, does anyone know Al-Kawthar Institute, by the way? Doing Al-Kawthar courses? Yeah. You might have attended or at least know about it. When I launched Al-Kawthar, of course, here in UK, then after that came a few other organizations similar to it. One of them was, as you know, from al-maghrib, and a few others. They also came from US to UK at that time. And a few other organizations sprouted up as well that are similar to Al-Kawthar and al-maghrib, etc. in this place. What actually happened? Did our numbers go crashing down? Are we closing bodies? No. Actually, the market increased. The number of people that are now interested in Islamic education and intensive courses actually increased. Because Al-Kawthar could only appeal to a small market. We had only one small sphere of influence. Does that make sense? But when they had another sphere of influence, another one had another sphere, then now we could market to not only our market, but to the whole market. So what I'm trying to say is, chill. Take it easy. Things that you see are, oh my God, what's going on? So much division in the ummah, da 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 da. Chill, man. It's actually, might be even better for you. Okay? But what you got to do is just stand back, watch how they're doing it, but develop certain things that are competitive and that give better service to the people. People will always come to the people that give better service. Don't ever assume that, oh, okay, you're always a Islamic Society member, don't go to the other Islamic Society. No. People always go to the one that provides a better service. There's nothing called customer loyalty. Do you understand? Don't ever expect like, oh, now they're going to the other musalla. Yeah, because you know what? You don't have air conditioning. Yeah? No, but do you understand what I'm trying to say? The point I'm trying to make is, if you provide better services and you do the job better, people will come to you and follow you. People will go where they can get the most benefit. So you provide most benefit, you'll win. Right? So it's time to get more competitive. It'll probably lift up your game. Otherwise, you know what? Many eye socks that I've seen, actually, you know what? What's up with you guys, man? You're just eating curry every day and biryani and that's all we do. Like, time to get active and do some dawah, man. Yeah? And that's what happens. If you have a little bit of competition, what's going to do is, inshallah, it's going to up your ante. It's going to up the ante. Does that make sense? And you're going to do more. And inshallah, make you a better person. Bi-idhnillah. Tfaddal, question from the sisters. Bismillah.
Is it allowed to work in a bank or an insurance company?
Okay, it is not permissible to work in a financial institution that deals in riba. You cannot even clean their floors. You cannot even do their IT system. You cannot even fix the electricity. You cannot work for any single financial institution that deals in riba. This is categorically, there's no difference with the scholars that I know about on this issue at all, okay? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَتَعَاوَنُوا عَلَى الْبِرِّ وَالتَّقْوَى وَلَا تَعَاوَنُوا عَلَى الْإِثْمِ وَالْعُدْوَانِ. Help you one another upon righteousness and goodness. Do not help you one another upon sin and transgression. Okay? Based upon this, not permissible to work for any financial institution that deals in riba. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best. Jazakallah khair. Brothers, any questions? Bismillah. Tfaddal, akhi, go ahead.
I don't think many people in this room actually know what an Islamic society is. Could you just briefly explain what the benefits are of joining one and the benefits of actually starting one up in college?
What up in your college? Okay. The brother's asking that many people don't know the benefits of an Islamic society. So he's just asked me to say what are the functions of Islamic society and what are the benefits of being part of one. Excellent question. Jazakallah khair. Ya ikhwati, university provides a great opportunity to touch the lives of those people who thus far had not had much relationship or knowledge or practice of Islam. Many of our students now go to various schools. They don't know much about Islam at all. They've never been taught. Their parents were ignorant, right? So university provides a perfect medium in order to actually reach out to those people to help them learn Islam. In fact, I remember I was non-practicing or an atheist until the Islamic society, and through that I became practicing and religious. And I know many people over here would probably say the same thing, that they actually became practicing or more practicing when they actually went to Islamic societies, and that's what gave them the opportunity. So Islamic societies are very critical. The critical factor about it is the friendship circle that it provides you, because friendship is your protection. Your friendship circle is your protection from all the fitna that is there in universities, from drugs, from sex, to rock and roll, to music, to everything else. You need a protective factor, and your Islamic society provides that factor. On top of that, you're an adult, so now you have to pray. You have to pray all your 5 daily prayers and your Jummah prayer. So where else would you do so without an Islamic society? On top of that, in the 21st century, I believe it is sinful for a brother or a sister to simply pray and fast and give zakat and do hajj. I believe we must do something more, and that is called to the path of Allah Azza wa Jal. If you do not do so, living in the Western countries, along with your pillars of Islam, then I believe you are sinful. No doubt about it. Because Allah will ask us about all of the things that we're hearing about, how the Muslim Ummah is cracking and dying and in trouble around us. We must do something about it and hold on to Islam and help Islam. And for that reason, to do so together in an Islamic society makes all sense, all types of sense. You can do things on your own, yeah? But you can never ever achieve your vision if you do it on your own. The Prophet did not achieve his vision through one person, through himself. He achieved it through his Sahaba. And that's the whole point. If you want to achieve things in this dunya, you must do it with others. So ikhwati, Islamic society has multiple benefits, and no doubt, I highly encourage it, and I support it myself. I support Islamic societies, and help them when I can, inshallah, both financially as well as with my advice and my time. and support, and I highly encourage you to start one. And plus remember, one of the things that work, when you get out and start working, one of the things that they look for is not only what education you've done, but what extracurricular activities you've done. If you can show that you are in a leadership position, done networking, you know how to manage people, get things together, operations-wise, you can do this and that, they'll give you a far better position and a better job in a better company than you can anywhere else. So it makes a lot of sense. Last thing you want to do is to try and do an initiative or work with people in work when you actually have to perform and your results actually matter. In Islamic society, you know what, even if you fail or do something wrong, you've got other people to carry the slack, or you can actually, no one's going to really, cause you harm. So, ya akhwati, Islamic society is great opportunity to practice your skills, to get to have a good Islamic brotherhood, to protect your deen, and to fulfill your obligations of Islam, inshallah. Jazakallah khair. Sisters, go ahead. Sisters in Islam, go ahead, inshallah. Salam. Ukhti, I can't hear you at all. Please come closer to the microphone.
Recently, a couple, me and some sisters at our college, they banned niqab from when entering the college and wearing niqab on premises. So, we've got no other choice to, we can't enroll at any other colleges because they're full on the courses, they're not.
Your college has banned you from wearing niqab?
Yeah.
Is that the case?
Some institutions, I think they can.
Really? Wow.
This is after we enrolled, so they didn't tell us about this before we enrolled. We kept asking, is it okay, is it okay?
So what are you studying, Ukhti?
Me and some sisters are studying
Applied
applied science.
sciences, okay. Look, my sincere advice at this point in time is to not give up your Islamic values for something which is not an essential knowledge. Applied sciences perhaps is not an essential knowledge. I would consider essential knowledge that is essential for the Muslim Ummah to be things such as education, such as medicine, and those sort of things. And if
The course does lead into medical science.
it does.
It's supposed to get into.
Okay, so Ukhti, still it doesn't justify to me. I would, if you insist on wearing the niqab and you're of the opinion that niqab is obligatory, then I would not sacrifice my values for the whims and desires of any college out there. Okay, I would still hold on to my values. So I would find a place where I can actually study and still wear the niqab. If that is not possible, and it so happens that in UK every single institution bans the niqab, then at that point it can be evaluated whether sisters really need to go to that particular degree program or not. And this wholehearted going into university and just studying something or the other just to get a degree is useless. Useless. I can tell you it's useless because you might not even end up using it. How many of our sisters actually end up going into medicine that study science? I don't know, but I would imagine it's not very significant because the number of places in medicine are already so restricted, and the number of applied science places, for example, are so large and so many institutions teaching it, but the number of people that can study medicine is so restricted. So I'm not so sure, Ukhti, fillah, if this is something that I can improve of. If you insist on wearing the niqab or you feel that this is an important part of your identity, I would not sacrifice this for the whims and fancies of any professor out there at all. My deen and my Lord is more important than anything else. So I would seek out to study elsewhere where I can look after my Islamic values, and that is more important than anything else. Allah knows best. Go ahead, inshallah. Anyone has any question? Yes, Akhi, tafadhal.
One of the main ways that we usually give dawah is through how Islamic Awareness Week and through lectures. And I just wanted to ask, due to your experience in dawah, what other activities and ideas would you suggest for Islamic societies to do with dawah besides just doing lectures and classes and Islamic Awareness Week?
I mean, I would first of all ask my brother. So the question my brother is asking is, what other activities other than dawah work to students, inviting them to Islam, can Islamic societies focus on? I would suggest that the brothers and sisters who are at the heads of Islamic societies actually have a visioning session to vision their way forward. I actually dislike the way Islamic societies run today. The reason why is because the heads keep changing every 2 years, every 1 year. I don't like it. I don't like the fact that, for example, in Infosys, the heads keep changing. I don't like it at all. And I think this is un-Islamic. The reason why I believe it's un-Islamic is because if the heads keep changing, the vision keeps changing. And if the vision keeps changing, you go nowhere. That's what exactly happens to countries like UK and other places where the government keeps changing every 4 or 5 years. Because the focus points, Labour takes the country this way. Then comes Liberal takes it that way. And then Labour comes back and takes it that way. And then Liberal comes and takes it this way. And then Labour comes back again and takes it that way. And then Liberal comes back and takes it this way. So where did you progress? You didn't achieve anything. All you did is build more people and build more bricks and mortar, but have you actually progressed the country? And that is why, ikhwati, Americans and America progresses faster than any other country. Why? There's one man, one decision maker. Okay? It's more Islamic, actually. The presidential system with their one-man system for 8-year tenure, you can achieve a lot more in 8 years than you can achieve in these small ways and the way that things happen. And I feel that's why America progresses faster than anything else. And I know that is one of the strengths of Mercy Mission. We have one leader, one vision, and so it progresses forward. And that is the Khilafah as well. One leader until that leader dies or that leader becomes incompetent or becomes incapable. And that's why one leader, one vision, and it progresses forward, inshallah. And the aim is to choose the best leader, inshallah. So, ikhwati, my sincere advice to you, Akhil Kareem, is to have a clear vision of what you want to achieve. And of the most important activities is to service your main market, which is Muslimin, and then your secondary market, which is your non-Muslim brothers and sisters out there, okay? And help them come back to Islam, inshallah. And these are your two important priorities. So therefore, what are the things that Muslims need and what are the things that non-Muslims would benefit from? That's where I would focus on, inshallah. Jazakallah khair. Sisters, tfaddalu. Bismillah.
Assalamu alaikum.
Salam. Yes, ukhti, tfaddal.
Is it okay for a female to move out and live on campus even though the student loans is haram? What other options do you have to gain an education?
Could you repeat the question, ukhti? Is this okay for?
Is it okay for a female to move out and live on campus even though taking out students' loans is haram? What other options do you have to gain an education?
Well, ukhti, today, alhamdulillah, there's multiple sources of education. There's online education, quite significant, alhamdulillah. And you can do some very significant things. They have some minor on-site coursework that you have to do, which is fair enough, alhamdulillah. But sisters in Islam, there's one thing I would ask everyone to study, all the sisters and majority of the brothers. I want you to take this as a career advice. Become teachers. Become teachers. Let me say it again, become teachers. It doesn't pay very well. That's because people have no vision. They don't know what changes a country. What changes a country is schools. Where and how did secularism come into Islamic countries? Because all our schools are secular. They're not Islamic. How many Islamic schools are there in our Muslim countries? Very few, handful. They're only madrasas. No, I'm talking about, normal schools. Are they religious and Islamic? No, they're not. That's how secularism has spread into our Muslim countries. The only way to change it is for a generation of teachers who are practicing Muslim brothers and sisters who have Islam in the root of their heart. They go back into education and focus on the next generation. The people who will live in the next 25 years and who will rule our countries in the next 25 years are in school right now. They're in school right now. So we have an opportunity to address them. Do you know how Kemal Atatürk took over Turkey? Have you read? You should read about how secularism entered our country. How did the Ottoman Empire get destroyed like that? How did that happen? Well, Kemal Atatürk, basically what happened was in the 1890s, the Sultan Mehmed at that time, what did he do? He thought that, the Ottoman people, they should learn the new branches of science that were being experienced in Egypt and that were being pushed in France and in Germany and other places. So he sent a lot of people, youth, over to France and Germany to learn the new branches of sciences. Unfortunately, they didn't just learn science; they also learned all these other la cites. The French anti-religious attitude. They also learned that. And they came back in the 1900s. Okay, they came back and they told the Sultan, we want a republic. We don't want this Khilafah system at all. So Sultan said, no, I didn't send you for this stuff. I sent you to learn about science and maths. So what did they do? They went underground. They started 1,000 schools, and they started secular schools, and they built their people through these schools. 1,000 schools producing 10,000 graduates over the next few years. And when Kamal Ataturk had the help of the countries that were against the Ottoman Empire, like that he took over, like that, because he had the ground was set for him to take over. Do you understand? Yeah. If you want people to be guided, you got to build good Islamic schools. Yeah. And so this is what you need to do. Stop thinking about what you want to do with your life. I've got a plan for you. I know what you should be doing. Trust me, I know. Do schools and become teachers, inshallah. Seriously, ikhwati. And you may not understand the value of this, but you will one day when your kids are growing up, and then they come home and they talk about their girlfriend, boyfriend, and drugs and everything, and say, subhanallah, I wish I had a school that I was comfortable with for my kids. And the best way to ensure that your kids get the right education is to do it yourself. So just to do it yourself. So please, ikhwati, I want you to focus on becoming teachers. Whatever primary subject you do, math, science, English, etc., then do a teaching degree. It's only six months or 1 year, the PGC diploma, is that correct? Only 1 year here, and finish it off, inshallah. Become teachers, and inshallah ta'ala, we can launch great schools. I want to produce 10,000, 20,000 teachers, because I want to build 1,000 schools in the next 25 years. So if you can focus on it, I'll give you a job, inshallah. I'll have a job ready for you, bi'idhnillah. And I can talk like that because, you know what? I don't know how I'm going to do it. I've got no idea where the money will come from. But I know Allah will give it to us. Because Allah has given to His enemies, and Allah will give to His friends. And inshallah, we want to be His friends. So, ya ikhwati, please focus on schools, and focus on good schools, and bi'idhnillah, become teachers, inshallah. Jazakallah khair.
Anyone from the brother?
What's your view on dissecting dead bodies to gain knowledge and medical discoveries by dissecting dead bodies and getting involved in that?
My view on dissecting dead bodies is, if it's essential, I would suggest for pathology purposes, yes, but for anatomy purposes, probably we don't need that anymore, because there's enough models of teaching. The fatwa used to be that about 10 years ago, when the ulama were asked this question, they used to say, you know what, it should be permissible because you can't learn medicine otherwise, right? But today, now with the sophisticated 3D technology that we have, and the different models that we have access to, and you know, in iPad over here, I have a anatomy app that can give you some very detailed understanding of anatomy. I don't see that as a necessary need. But if you need to understand a COPD lung, or you need to understand, you know, a liver that has fatty change, for example, or a cirrhosis, liver cirrhosis, and you want to look into a liver, how it looks like, then yes, I think it warrants that. And the scholars have discussed this in the World Fiqh Council and the World Fiqh Council set up by the OIC, and they have concurred that inshallah it is permissible, inshallah.
And do you have like any advice about studying gynecology and those sort of in that at medical school?
Do I have advice about studying gynecology? Yes. Get married and minimize your contact with the other sex as much as you can. And I guess close your eyes. Yeah. Allah Mustaan. They're all laughing, is it? Allah Mustaan. What can I say? Okay, sisters, go ahead. There's a question from the sisters. Bismillah.
In hospital placements, it is required for us to wear below the elbows for hygiene reasons. However, this contradicts hijab. What is the ruling on this?
In this, sorry, Ukhti, what do you have to do?
In hospital placement, it is required for us to be bare below the elbows, meaning uniform for hygiene reasons. However, this
Yeah, it's only in UK. What's this silly law in UK? Because, you know, it's true. It's only in UK because some weirdo has done some weird research that said that apparently there's so much infection spread if you actually have, sleeves and the sleeves touching the patients, etc. Come on. It's like, you know, in Australia, that's not the case. I think the problem here in UK is congested hospitals. with some very weird basis of research that upon that basis. I remember because I did my medical placement here, in my fourth year when I had to do medical placement. I did it at University Hospital where Beckham was born, right? University City Hospital. And I did my placement there, and the cubicles were so tiny and small, and we had to suck ourselves in to go into the patients, and because the mushkila over here, ya khwati, is it's a UK thing. I haven't seen this standard of requirement anywhere else in the world. In Malaysia, in my hospitals, no. In Australia, I run emergency departments. I'm an emergency specialist. I don't see that. I wear usually my scrubs, which my hands are showing. But even when it's cold, sometimes Australia gets really cold, and I wear a skivvy underneath it, and it's covered till my hands. I've got my watch as well that I use sometimes. I've got my stethoscope around my neck, and I'm touching patients. This is not the standard of care that's been implemented in Australia. So it is in UK. My sincere advice is that you can also get these gloves that are actually up to the elbow. You can get those gloves. You can actually order them yourself and keep them in your bag from now on. So when you go to see patients and touch patients, wear the gloves that actually go all the way up to your elbows, and buy them separately. Okay, that's what I would suggest. I remember there used to be a sister who. There was a sister who, sorry, I apologize. I remember when I was as an intern, and I have a beard, and they used to say that because of swine flu, they had to fit masks on our faces, and they couldn't get a proper fitting because of my beard, so they told me to trim my beard. I said, over your dead body, I'll trim my beard. You better find me a proper mask, or I'm going to sue you and take you to court. So the hospital got worried. And they got me a full face mask, which is like, I looked like a zombie, like I was a beehive, the beehive going to, get the beehive and you wear those beehive masks around you. I said, come on, but they had to just keep it. It's not like there was, that we actually ever wore it ever. But in orthopedic surgery, when you wear those big masks that go around you, just like you're going from planet Earth, you're walking on the moon, those sort of masks, they got those for us. So, ikhwati, don't compromise your deen. Figure out, be smart, find out those gloves that they can cover all the way up to your elbows, inshallah, and use those, inshallah. But one of the things here in UK I noticed is, mashallah, I remember a sister who was a consultant wearing a niqab, and she was walking, and you know how over here you've got your registrars and your junior doctors all walking. Yeah, mashallah, she was in niqab, and she was in full gear, all black, all in her hands, and she was walking around, and all these doctors are like, yes professor, running behind her. It was the most amazing sight. I wish I had a camera. I said, look at this is just izzah and honor for Islam, subhanallah. So don't compromise your deen. You'll be fine, inshallah. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, inshallah, there was another question which was written, which was to do with a pledge which was signed about 5-6 years ago between certain Muslim groups, and Sheikh Tawfique was one of those signatories, and a lot of people just wanted to just get a bit more information behind the context, etc.
Okay. About 6 years ago, the situation of the Muslim Ummah was far worse than what it was now in some contexts. And those contexts included in the media where Islamic groups were arguing against each other. Basically, Sufis, Salafis, Ikhwanis, Ash'aris, they were all bashing each other on the media. Very publicly, they were having debates, and the media was printing articles left, right and center against quote-unquote Wahhabis and Wahhabi Islam, etc. In fact, it was being debated in the Congress as well. And I know in Australia where I was, it was a big issue that caused a lot of our mashayikh and our ulama to not be able to get visas to come to Australia. So at that time, some of the people took an initiative to get all these groups together. And they got together in Cardiff in UK, and they wrote out, it's not a pledge or a oath of allegiance or whatever people call it. It's just an agreement, simple agreement. It's like we agree on certain things. So what was the agreement? The agreement was simply that we would not publicly disgrace each other or speak about our da'wah derogatory in terms of one group to another group, or publicly name each other in the media. Okay, that was a real purpose of it, or at least that was my understanding of it, or that's the reason why I agreed to it. Was that this was already an agreement to the methodology of da'wah that I was used to. I studied from Ibn Uthaymeen rahimahullah and Sheikh bin Baz rahimahullah and Sheikh Shanqiti hafidhullah, and they never spoke about Ahl al-Bidah by name. They did mention, for example, this is the way of the Sufiya and this is wrong, or this is the way of the Ash'ari and that's mistaken. But they never ever mentioned Ash'ari ulama or du'at by name. And that's all I understood this agreement to be, that we don't mention people by name, and we act civil and ordered. And no doubt, here in the West, we are at the boundaries of Islam, right? We are at the frontiers of Islam. And Shaykh al-Islam ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah in his fatwa, he saw that some of the ulama of the Sufi and some of the ulama of the Ash'ari and some of the ulama of Ahl Sunnah were fighting each other on aqidah matters at the frontiers of Islam, where the Mongols and Tatars were out there and the Muslims were here. And he told them, no, this is not where you argue. Don't show this unity of the Muslims in front of them. The enemy is the greater danger. So what did he do? He simply said, do not debate about those matters here another time. So this is my understanding, that we are in the ribat, we are at that frontier, and we should not show disunity publicly. And we should not name each other and insult each other publicly. However, that does not mean that we don't clarify our aqidah. I've always been doing so, alhamdulillah. Anyone who attends my classes, courses, especially a class called Lord of the Worlds and King of Kings. Has anyone attended that? You have attended. Do you remember how the course was? Man, it was yeah, it was, hey? So I don't know, I don't want to say anything, but I have my witness over here, and he will tell you how strongly I was against on the Aqeedah of Ahl Sunnah al-Jama'ah. On the Aqeedah of Ahl Sunnah al-Jama'ah as against the Aqeedah of Ahl al-Bid'ah. How strong I was. And so those people today that are trying to use my agreement to this pledge, to this so-called pledge, as a means of saying Tawfique agrees with Ahl al-Bid'ah, is just, they have no idea. I know how to defeat and argue with these people who are Ahl al-Bid'ah far better than they can. I'm telling you, without any sort of, reservation. I'm telling you, I know far better the mistakes of the Ahl Bidah and how to defeat them in their Aqidah better than half these people who were walking around in their diapers when I was studying this stuff. Yeah, and they're kids at the moment, that don't have Islah in their hearts and their minds, that they want to spread fitna. Don't listen to this fitna, ya ikhwati. People talk and people spread fitna. Half of them, a vast majority of them, only intend fasad and fitna. Wallahu la yuhibbul mufsideen. Allah Azza wa Jal will never help them in their fasad. Ya ikhwati, when I heard about this fitna, people saying that Tawfique says this or that, etc., I kept quiet because I saw that they were extravagant. They're exaggerating. They were exaggerating the truth. And I know that Inna Allah yudafi'u anil ladina amanu. Allah will defend the believers. And I'm upon the Aqeedah Ahl Sunnah al-Jama'ah. That's the only deen I know. That's my ulama, that's my teaching, and I will be upon this till the end of time. But that does not mean I will not use my hikmah and my wisdom to increase the da'wah of Ahl Sunnah al-Jama'ah, and that is what is required. Use your hikmah and your wisdom to not cause more fasad, and that's why I agreed to the agreement. But alhamdulillah, never for one day have I ever left the Aqeedah Ahl Sunnah al-Jama'ah. Anyone who says that, I challenge them to a debate immediately, right now, face to face. Whoever these people are, show yourselves to me if they have the ability to do so, but they hide behind kunyas, Abu this, Abu that, so and so. Shuhada, man. Put your proper name and your address. We'll come to you and we'll see, inshallah. Don't you take me on. Subhanallah, you know what? This is why, ikhwati, the point of the matter is, today with the internet, we have internet warriors and mujahideen on the internet. Yeah? Facebook warriors. I mean, look at what foolishness, man, subhanallah. Do something beneficial with your life. Help people. Save an orphan. Feed a poor person. Build a masjid. Do something khair. Don't waste your time destroying your deeds, because wallahi, I will have my haqq on the day of judgment. Jazakallah khair.